Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Morid Hagashem. Blessed are you, O God, sovereign of the universe, who brings forth the water in rain in its season. All right. Hi, everyone. It is so good to be with everyone this afternoon, and I am grateful to be together. I returned this afternoon, actually, from serving on faculty at camp. And I can promise you that this meeting feels just a little different than the song session that we had last night, and with hundreds of Jewish kids. So I've just celebrated 19 years of being a rabbi, and I can tell you that in the 19 years of my rabbinate, I have attended many an annual meeting, and those annual meetings are often procedural and businesslike. There are reports and votes and updates and transitions. And so I want to begin from a slightly different place. I want to invite you to think for just a moment about one person or one moment or an experience. Maybe it was a Shabbat or a holiday that you attended or a class that you took or a conversation that you had. One experience at Temple Beth this year that helped you to feel more connected to Jewish life or to this community. And I want to ask you to hold that moment in your mind for just a second. And the reason I want to ask you to think about that is because the numbers and the procedures and the governance, they're all important, right, AJ? They're all important. Okay. And what we're really talking about is about what our budget makes possible. What we're talking about is what our lay leadership makes possible, what our staff and our clergy make possible every day. And what we're talking about is what we are creating together, a particular kind of Jewish life for a particular kind of community here in Charlotte. And that is something that is harder to put in a spreadsheet or express sometimes in a vote. It is the child walking into religious school, still a little sleepy, and finding a teacher who knows their name. It is the parent standing in the hallway after a drop-off, talking with another parent longer than they had expected because something in that conversation felt needed. It is the person who comes to a service after a hard week and discovers that the music reaches something that words cannot. It is the family preparing for a B'nai Mitzvah and realizing that their child is not only learning prayers, but beginning to take their place in a story much larger than themselves. It's in the hospital visit. It's in the Shiva meal delivered. It's the conversation after service that spills into the parking lot long after the building goes dark. It's the volunteer who shows up before anyone notices. It's the spaces for men in Brotherhood or women in Miriam's Well or our seniors in Spice or people of all ages in our tribes or our young people in Jam or our youth group in Liberty, whatever the age, whatever the stage, to feel connected in this world. It's the committee member who says yes again and again, the teacher who gives a learner one more reason to feel proud to be Jewish. And increasingly, it is also the expanding fabric of our Jewish lives beyond the walls of Temple Beth, the gatherings in Shalom Park, the conversations with partner agencies across Jewish Charlotte, the interfaith tables that we sit at, the civic relationships that we're building, the public moments where our community needs steadiness, leadership, and moral clarity. Over the past year, we have seen extraordinary care in the life of our congregation. Care through grief and illness, care through pastoral conversations and life cycle moments, care in classrooms, in worship, in committee meetings, in acts of service, and in the quiet ways that people notice one another. And we have also seen Jewish reconnection driven in part by rising anti-Semitism, if we're going to be honest. People seeking more grounding, more literacy, more confidence, and more courage. Parents asking how to raise children with confidence and joy. Adults asking for more Jewish language and grounding. And people trying to talk about Israel with honesty and love. People trying to respond to anti-Semitism without letting fear become the whole of the story. Temple Beth, and I am proud of this, Temple Beth is one of the places where those questions and those ideas can be held with care, with the seriousness that questions demand, and with good old-fashioned Jewish hope. And over the past year, I have found myself returning often to our mission, to cultivate connected, proud, meaningful Jewish living that inspires change in our world. Connected, proud, meaningful. These words feel different now than they might have felt a few years ago. Connected because Jewish life grows through connection to one another, to our stories, to our rituals, to our learning, and to the shared life of this congregation. Disconnection, on the other hand, is the questions we do not ask. Disconnection is the grief that we carry alone because we are not sure there is a place to bring it. Connection is how we counter that reality. One conversation, one class, one Friday evening or Saturday morning, one moment of being recognized by someone who knows your name. Proud because we want every Jewish child and every adult who walks through these doors to know where they come from, to understand the strength and the beauty of their tradition, and to carry Jewish identity forward with confidence. Pride is not arrogance. Pride is knowing your story well enough to live from it. Meaningful because Judaism must teach and touch real life. And Jewish living that inspires change because what we practice here should shape how we live beyond here, in our homes, in our relationships, and in Charlotte, and in the responsibilities that we take on together. Our vision as a congregation calls us to be a bold Jewish community of deep roots, sacred responsibility, and daring hope. Deep roots because we are part of a 3,500-year-old history, something much larger than any of us, connected to Jews in Charlotte and our region and in Israel and around the world. And we need that story. We need that practice and memory and belonging deep enough to hold us when the ground shakes, as it has been doing. And we aren't the end of the story. All of us are the middle of the story. And it's our responsibility to carry it forward, but to plan and to plant the seeds that will come to fruition well after us. That is our sacred responsibility. Because a synagogue is not only a place that serves us, it is a community that asks something of us as well. And daring hope, because Jewish hope is a discipline. It's not just optimism, and it's not denial. It is built through choices and commitments and relationships and the courage to keep investing in Jewish life even when the world feels uncertain. It is the hope of a people who have buried too much and still planted for the future anyway. So this afternoon, we will do the formal work of an annual meeting. There'll be a vote. We'll recognize our leaders. We're going to hear the updates, and we're going to look forward to the future. But I hope that we experience the evening as more than that. I hope that what we can truly see here is what is growing here, that we can give thanks for the people who carry this congregation, that we can feel proud of the role that Temple Beth is playing in our lives and in Jewish Charlotte, and that we can remember that this community is not built by accident. It is built by the people who decide again and again and again to show up, to care, to teach, to lead, to give, to make Jewish life more alive. I am so grateful to be doing this work alongside each of you. And I want to invite AJ Seacrest, our president, back up to help us reflect on the people, the culture, the leadership, and the shared commitment that are helping Temple Bethel move forward.